Now if you've created a concrete pot using the Lofted tool as well as the shell, there's a slightly different process that you need to do to create your inside moulds and outside moulds for your concrete pot. To do this, probably the first thing that you want to do is we're going to go back to your original sketches, and they sit within your loft, and what we're going to do is actually increase the size by 6mm, and that's going to be 3mm either side for the thickness of your mould. So first thing we're going to do is double click on sketch 1, and instead of 50, what we're going to do is make that 56, and then you can hit finish sketch. So you'll see the triangle shapes change slightly, and the same for sketch 2. Double click on that, and we're going to change that to 106. So now our pot is actually a little bit bigger than our original plan. So now what we're going to do is change the shell's thickness. So rather than being the actual thickness for the pot, we're going to change that to the thickness of the outside mould. So to do that, we just right click on the shell and go edit feature and change that thickness from 10 to 3. And it'll change that. So once you're happy with that, hit OK. And that's how we change the lofted design into the outside mould. Now that we've got the outside wall thickness correct for our outside mould, what we now need to do is create two parts to this mould so it is easily removed once the concrete is set. What we also need to do first is to remove the bottom. So the bottom that's sitting underneath, because that's going to be sitting on a little bit of form ply, so rather than the 3D printed bottom. What we need to do now is to change the work plane distance. So rather than being 100, we're going to make it 103. So to do that, we just edit the dimension and just make that 103. So the reason for the 3 is that that has a 3mm bottom on it. So we just do that. We'll slightly stretch our design. Now what we need to do next is remove the bottom. So same thing as what we did in the other drawing, is we create a 2D sketch, and we're just going to draw a circle over the top of it, just to clear the triangle, just to make it quick and easy. Once you're happy with that, as long as it doesn't need to be dimensioned, as long as it's clearing the design, we just hit finish sketch, and we're going to cut our circle, cut it away 3mm, so that you can see the bottom is cut out just there. So just to give you an example, if I went 2.5, you would see that the bottom is still solid at the bottom there. So just make it the size of your shell, pretty much, which is 3mm in this example. So happy with that, then hit OK. Now we're back at the step where we did in the previous drawing, where we drew the circle on the top. Now you could do it on the bottom as well. Actually, in this case, we will draw it on the bottom because we need to make sure that the line is going perpendicular to one of the edges to make it easier for the mould to be removed. So 2D sketch on the bottom. We'll draw the circle again to make sure that it clears the entire design, the entire outside mould. In this instance here, we'll click on the origin or the center of our triangle and bring that up to the midpoint, or actually we'll go straight through the design, make sure that it's 0 degrees, or it's nice and straight, in other words, and it's going through our point just here. So that's the critical point just there. So it goes through that little shape. So once you're happy with that, we hit finish sketch, and the same process, we just extrude, cut away one of those designs. Now if your design is symmetrical, this one isn't, so we'll have to make sure that we do that on both sides and save a copy of both of those. So we can just shortcut show you another way to do it, is just drag that through, and that's how we can create one part of our design, one part of our outside mould for this one. So once you're happy with that, save a copy and then repeat that on the other side.